Boom! Here we are.
Hello.
Jeremy DeWitt, Pete McCarthy. Episode 2 of Heavy Metal Minivan!
Woo!
And we are on our way back now. Episode 1 was on the way to Zealand. Episode 2 is on the way back from Zealand.
Back from Zealand.
Had a great time. Like, it was super fun. And whether or not you guys like it, we're probably going to keep doing this because, hey, the DeWitt Center for the Arts.
There you go. Too bad I'm not a part of that.
Holy shitballs.
And it's in a different world. Maybe that's my variant or something.
Yes. That's the multiverse Jeremy.
Yes. Where he was successful.
Drew more than like Ghostbusters slime balls with his artistic talent.
Yeah,
and
fucking idiot.
So crazy.
That guy was smart.
So my song, this next song is, I don't know if you can call it metal or not. There's definitely metal elements. This is one of my all-time favorite bands. And one of the coolest things about this band is in every one of their album jackets, they were very specific that every sound you heard on the album was made by either a drum, a bass, a guitar, or a vocal. And that speaks to what Mr. Tom Morello can do with an electric guitar. Mm-hmm. So I've picked a Rage Against the Machine song. It's one of my favorite songs. And the reason I like this song so much is this is such an organic way to do a song. They're sitting around in the studio, and Tom Morello had just repaired something on his guitar, his amp, whatever, and had an Allen wrench in his hand. And he had the Allen wrench, and he started wiping it on the strings of his guitar, and it made this kind of cool noise. And then next thing you know, the drummer's dropping a beat, Zach De La Rocha comes in with some vocals, and the song, People of the Sun, was born.
All right.
People come up.
Yeah.
They always had such a killer groove.
Oh, yeah. 1,516 minds attacking overseas. So, very political. Eventually, that's kind of what drove them apart. Differences in how things should be. Now, outside of Rage Against the Machine, they went on to form with Chris Cornell, minus Zach De La Rocha, Audio Slave. Still had some great guitars, some great groove. The vocals were very different, but very good music. So
they always had a great bass.
Oh yeah, Tim Comerford.
Yeah.
Wears it real high, just lets his fingers do the walking. You know
That's
what I
how
mean?
you know a musician's good is when they wear their guitars up high.
Yep. Or they have a big belly.
Yeah, that's true.
Never
I love the bass on this part.
Wind, snap your back, your spine crack, fold your back. Oh, I'm the Marlboro man.
See, I always love groups like this where nobody's doing the same thing. The bass is driving the rhythm or the melody and rhythm right now.
But lyrical value, when you're 16 years old and you got a hold of a pack of Marlboro Lights and you got Rage Against the Machine and you're 91 Ford Escort, you know, you're just doing it, baby. You found a gun. I'm not the only kid that at one point in his life had Arby the Homeless written on his guitar. And I'm also not the only kid who probably has damage done permanently to his left eye because I don't know if you know this or not, but Tom Morello didn't clip the excess strings off his guitar.
Yes.
So when you get into it, you catch one of those sons of bitches, you get a high E right in the fucking eyeball, man.
Oh, I used to let mine dangle all the time, but they are dangerous. Yeah, these guys are kings of the groove, man.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
Absolutely love them.
It's, God, and I can't say groove enough, but it really is just got that groove.
Mm-hmm. And so, Axis of Evil, maybe? Axis of something. One of the bands that we featured on episode 1, System of a Down, lead singer, I'm not going to say it right, Serge Tankian.
I think that's right.
And Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine was a podcast. that they did years ago before podcasts were kind of a thing.
Yes.
And I want to say that it was, I'm going to go ahead and go because these people don't stare at me like I got a dick hanging out my face.
I think you did the right thing.
And it might, you know, it might have been it was a podcast ask type show, but it might have been on Sirius XM. And it was those two guys kind of talking and doing their thing, and which was, you know, super cool. But yeah, so Rage has always been Rage Against the Machine, Evil Empire, which that's off of, and of course the probably their biggest hit ever is of course Bulls on Parade.
Right.
Tom Morello makes it freaking sound like a goddamn turntable, you know. That album Evil Empire was the first CD that I ever bought that had a parental advisory.
Nice.
And that was what led to Marilyn Manson, led to some other things, and you know, having that opening the door to me being able to have other things that I wanted to have.
Sure.
And Jeremy, you've heard this story, and the listeners may have had too, but that was, you know, my mom freaking out that I'm listening to parental advisories and Marilyn Manson, and my dad going, Peggy, I remember getting blood on me from Iggy Pop and the Stooges because I was in the front row and he cut himself with a bottle. Like, I think Peter's going to be okay.
I think
you know what I mean?
Be just fine.
So, and it was one of those things like, hey, you understand that you don't talk like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You carry yourself in a way that is respectful, and, you know, you enjoy the music. The music doesn't define you, and hey, here we are, you know? I'd like to think that I've done all right. I mean, okay, yeah, baby, out of wedlock. But other than that, I feel like I've done all right. So
sure, I would say so.
All right, what's up next, Jeremy?
All right,
you got the open to the slot.
All right. Okay, so with certain artists, it's really hard to just choose one song to kind of try to break people into it because they're so eclectic, they're so out there, they do so many different styles that just choosing one song does them a disservice. So, personally, I'm just going to choose the song that got me interested in the group themselves. Devin Townsend.
It's a solid philosophy.
Yes. Devin Townsend.
I had a sneaky suspicion this is where we were heading by your description.
Yeah.
So
it's really hard because he is all over the place. He's done stuff like Strapping Young Lad, which is super like heavy, kind of funny, a little bit industrial at times. And then he has his solo stuff, which is a little more poppy, but he still uses that production of like, you know, super heavy, thick drums and bass and guitars, tons of reverb and delay, and it's just huge production, but they're kind of like pop songs. But he sometimes screams, and his humor and everything is still all of it. Regardless.
And he looks like a CPA.
He is such...
Like, you imagine, like, you walk into H&R Block and he goes, hey, I'm Devin, how can I help you today?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, he's going to help me make sure I get the most bang out of my tax return.
And what's weird about him also is he is a virtuoso? Sure.
Okay.
On the guitar, but he usually just does really simple riffs to just kind of leave the song, you know, let it be what it is. He doesn't overplay for the sake of overplaying, even though he could if he wanted. So, without further ado, here is Christine from the Infinity album, Devin Townsend.
Devin Townsend Project or just Devin Townsend?
Devin Townsend.
Okay.
Like, who would do that? Seems a little silly.
And this sounds like Nobody on the Road.
Yeah, right.
Nobody on the... It had that weird little,
yeah.
you know?
Very reverby, ambient a little.
This almost feels a little bit like if Styx wouldn't have gotten rid of Dennis and did some like more futuristic growth.
There you go.
You know? It sounds like there's 40 people singing.
I know.
I love it.
He's very symphonic in his writing.
That's the word.
Thing with him, he can sing very operatic and very smooth, and the next second he can be screaming the fucking skin off your face.
Right.
And tunes almost exclusively in the Led Zeppelin tuning, open C.
So what is it?
What?
So he never holds down the C string. He always plays it open.
No, it's open C tuning, so it's like C, G, C, G, C, E, or something like that. Or
Okay.
yeah, it's just an open C chord.
Oh,
You
okay.
hit it. Very sing-alongable.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's my favorite part.
Do we know who Christine is?
I want to say it was a sister or someone's sister or something. Not really sure exactly what it's about.
Double bass.
Yeah, baby.
Am I going left or right?
I had it on the map. We're going. I'm so sorry.
You're
It's
all
coming
right.
up.
It's what the music does to us,
It does.
man.
It makes you rock and get lost. Left. We're going
We're
left.
going left.
Yep.
One of the heavier things without being heavy.
So
There's a lightness and airiness to, you know what I mean?
very ambient. Lots
Right.
of keyboards and just soaring like mid-range noise. Just and it, I don't know, it gets you all smooth, and then he's like, like I said, one song can't do him justice, but that right there is kind of like it's a good place to start.
Oh yeah, well, and you've shared music with me as kids that's death metal, and you're like, okay, well, that sounds like a Disney soundtrack. Like that's
yes, exactly.
Like there's a new like Townsend is the newest Disney princess or whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
And he'll go with like different themes from album to album too. I mean, it's just however he's feeling in that time, and whatever comes out comes out. He's mentioned things before where like he sees and hears songs before he makes them, and he can see music in color, and he's like, this song is very red in this part, and it's very this and that, and like, so he's kind of like a super music genius.
oh yeah, and it definitely comes through in
Yeah.
what you hear. You know,
And always has great, musicians backing him up as well. I honestly don't know who played on that song for sure, but I know in the past he's had, drummers like Gene Hoglan on backing him up and shit. Phenomenal Death, and I think he also did like Testament and Strapping Young Lad and even Fear Factory and stuff. I mean, the guy's a human, gigantic metronome. It's nuts.
Fear Factory was one of those bands I never really got into.
Yeah,
Really.
I got into one album. It's funny because one of those songs might be on my list.
What?
So, yeah.
So for me, when I look back and I think about my life
Mhm.
as progressing in music, I kind of jumped. I got a little bit heavier. When I got a little bit heavier, I was introduced to a brand new band that I absolutely came to love and enjoy, and that band is Slipknot.
Okay.
And so their Untitled debut album comes out. There's quite a few great songs on. And again, now you're riding in the Ford Escort, you're chain smoking Marlboro Lights because you were lucky enough to get a cart from a buddy who probably shouldn't have sold them to you. And so you're cruising along and you're like, listening to the anger and the angst, and you have no idea what these guys look like. because what they did is they said, hey, you know what? It's not about what we look like. We're not pretty boys. It's about the music. But then by wearing the jumpsuits and having a number and wearing the mask, it really created the complete opposite effect.
Exactly.
Because their looks did matter at that point.
Yeah.
And I've been in some mosh pits, and no mosh pits are scarier than when you're moshing next to guys dressed like Slipknot with their spiked helmets and everything else. And,
right, I can see that.
And Joey Jordison, who has since passed away, and he had left Slipknot due to some leg issues prior, was such an insane drummer, absolutely phenomenal. Did the upside down and everything else, the whole kit would move.
Yep.
And obviously you've got Corey out front, who everybody was excited about his side project called Stone Sour, when he's like, yeah, no, Slipknot was the side project. Stone Sour was what we were doing before that. So they've got the drummer, they've got 2 percussionists, they've got 2 guitarists, bassist,
DJ.
and then they've got a DJ, sampler. I think there's 8 people total, 9 people total, and they're numbered 0 through 7, 0 through 8, or whatever. But this was the first Slipknot song that I heard that got me listening to them and got me to buy the album. And this is, I think it was actually their first release off their first album, and it's Spit It Out. Did you never get a day when the first place maybe it's time where the tables turn? Because the end starts to fall and the ball, and the problem solved, and the verdict is guilty. It's so easy to be angry.
Right.
They're like, it's okay. Let it out.
Yeah.
You're amongst friends.
That's a big thing with metal, too. It's okay to be angry.
But when the clown percussionist, like, it's not a drum, it's a baseball bat in a keg.
Yes.
Boom! You know what I mean?
These guys are all phenomenal musicians as well.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I think the thing that kept me away from these guys was like the kind of the hip hop elements of it, which is unfortunate because they're pretty fucking heavy.
And over the course of time too, they've never lost their heavy edge,
right.
But they have lost a little bit of the hip hop side of things.
Right. Yeah.
A little bit of sampling, spiked helmet guy doing his thing, showing off his skills.
It always seemed weird that these guys were considered nu metal to me because, fuck, they seem heavier than that to me.
It could have just been timing.
Yeah.
You know?
And it does have the groove and the, yeah.
You notice there's a theme of screaming the F word in a lot of my songs,
yes.
But I love this lyrical change. Fuck me, I'm all out of enemas! You're like, he's gonna say enemies again. Nope, he made it enemas, because that's how he rolls, you know? Smack! All I wanna do is drag me down. All I wanna do is damn you. Smack! This, of course, was still with Paul Gray, their original bassist, who did end up dying. They've replaced him. They actually replaced Joey Jordison, the drummer, when he left. And it sounds like he has some sort of something to do with his legs. I want to say it's some sort of nerve damage that makes it so his legs don't work correctly. And he did end up ultimately passing away.
Yes.
But they never revealed why. But their new drummer, a lot of people don't know because, of course, when they got him, when they replaced Joey Jordison, came out in a suit and a mask, and it was just his identity was that mask. They didn't really unveil who it was. Mm-hmm. Of course, it came out, but Max Weinberg, E Street Band, that does, is it Conan, the drummer? It's actually his son.
Oh, that's crazy.
So, yeah. But
wow.
So yeah, dude, it's one of those, like I said, one of those bands that, you know, over the course, of time have grown, but they've always kind of stayed true to what it is that they do. But much like Aaron Lewis from Stained, Corey Taylor goes out with just his acoustic guitar and does these shows where it's just him.
Yeah.
And he plays some of this, he does like snuff and stuff that's just super raw and just emotional and, So.
Yeah. And he's the guy carrying on the band feuds with people. I dig that too. Because we don't get enough band feuds these days. Not like in the 80s.
Is Corey Taylor feuding with people? I guess I don't know enough about that.
Yeah, like Machine Gun Kelly or something.
But everybody's feuding with Machine Gun Kelly, you know what I mean?
But yeah, he's kind of always had the... he's very confrontational, which, is always kind of a big macho rock star thing.
Right.
Especially with the metal dudes or whatever. Famously, you had Vince Neil and like Axl Rose or something back in the day.
Yeah.
Fucking MTV commercial comes up. It's like,
I challenge you to a fight.
So, yeah.
And
big
realistically,
macho dudes.
the competition between those two, who's the bigger piece of shit?
Yeah.
Maybe. Because I hate Axl Rose. I've always hated Axl Rose for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, he's kind of a douche.
And Vince Neil is one of these guys that's like, oh, I'm so glad that you're not in jail because you're kind of a fucking murderer.
Yeah.
Like, how do you fucking skate on that, man?
And he doesn't even have the decency to fucking attempt to get any better.
No.
He's performing. Just
that video where somebody
captions it like
hi-ya!
Yeah.
Gotta serve the chicken! The back!
So bad. God.
So let's talk about Machine Gun Kelly for a second. So who in the hell ever that's walking into a room full of people and you're like, is that Mike Tyson? I'm gonna try to punch this guy, and he's gonna go at Eminem. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're just insane. Whether you like the guy or not, he's better than you, and he's arguably one of the best that's ever done this.
Yeah, and some people will say he arguably changed his style of music after he got dissed so bad, but I mean, who knows? Who knows?
He's always had so prior to that whole thing, like Machine Gun Kelly has done stuff with like Sleeping with Sirens and some different punk bands and whatnot, and most of it rapping. But he was on a show that I absolutely fell in love with called Roadies.
Okay.
And it was on Showtime, and it basically was a show that was about the road crew of a huge band.
Okay.
And this band would be like a OAR type band, Grateful Dead-esque kind of jam band kind of thing.
Sure.
They're huge. They've got their problems, obviously, but it was all about the road crew. And Luke Wilson was in it, and the girl that's really cute, she was in Gerard's game. Anyways, everybody know her. If I knew her name, everybody know that I'm not an asshole. But Machine Gun Kelly was one of the crew members and of this show, and it only lasted one season and then never came back. So it kind of bummed me out. But
I don't know enough about this guy. I honestly don't. He's not my, my demographic, I guess. Right. I don't know.
Well, and he's doing punk music, it sounds like now, or at least playing guitar and playing
he's doing
chords.
Megan Fox.
Wow, you can't blame a guy for that. So.
Not with those thumbs.
No. Her thumbs?
Yeah, she's got toe thumbs or something.
Really?
Yeah, they're stubby. They look funny.
All right, well, you heard it here first, folks.
It's true. It's true. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
Look it up. I'm telling you.
Oh.
I guess it'd be me.
It's
then,
you, buddy.
Well, I guess what kind of heavy metal fucking... Well, we might die. How heavy metal would it be if we didn't have my favorite band of all time? So
Journey.
It is.
Nice.
This is Jeremy. No. So Metallica, you know them, Black Album.
Right.
Do you know much before that other than like radio hits? Like Master of Puppets or One or whatever. Fade to Black.
Yeah, nope. That is the extent of what I know.
Okay.
I really enjoy playing One on Guitar Hero.
Okay. Bravo to that game, by the way, for getting kids into guitar music.
Right. That was the first time I ever heard Them Bones by Alice in Chains.
There you go.
I gotta play this shitty song. Here we go.
You fucking...
That was a rope dope.
So This is it's a longer one, but it is my absolute favorite Metallica song.
You mean to tell me that you can pick a favorite Metallica song?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really difficult because they do, surprisingly enough, they do have different, styles within their band as well. And I do like the Load era and stuff like that, but this is like the epitome of like their thrashiness to me. They got a little proggy on Justice, and there was no bass and just very scooped sound, and it's great tunes but kind of hard to listen to. Whereas this album, it was like just balls to the wall, like thick ass guitars and like the dual harmony solos, and Kirk was on fire. He actually wrote solos, and Lars was pretty fucking good, and the last album with Cliff Burton, and anyway, so this song has everything for me, and I'm gonna play it. It's called Disposable Heroes. It's about war, which is kind of a coincidental, ironic, or whatever, because apparently there's a war going on right now. So Disposable Heroes.
We are 3 seconds in, and I know this is Metallica. It's just kind of unmistakable.
Yes.
That the cymbal smash and grab.
Yeah.
Psh, 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 like that to me is pure Metallica.
You wait, that's coming up too. The wah guitar. This riff, fuck you, man. Bass. Now everybody's rocking.
Right, everybody's in. It's a family event now.
Yep. Metallica, always known for long intros.
Is he going to sing? We're not sure, but we're going to find out.
Yeah. Maybe it had to do with the fact that he never wanted to be a singer. Or maybe he always did. Whatever.
Now, Kirk Hammett replaced Dave Mustaine, right?
Yes. Then it's like... back to our original beat. Hey, James, how about you step up, buddy? We need to hear you.
And he literally does. He's walking to the microphone right now.
He's so angry in that voice. It's like shredding lettuce. Their old punk roots coming out. But good luck counting it. Let's put a little solo in between the pre-chorus and the chorus, okay?
I like it. Always makes you think of Jack Black and School of Rock.
There you go.
I'm going to take a solo right there. If as long as it's okay with you, I'm feeling it.
Yeah. You coward, you servant, you blind man. Barking a machine gun fire does nothing to me now. Sounding of the clock that ticks, get used to it somehow. There's your simple grabs.
Loving it.
Bodies fill the fields I see. The slaughter never ends. Man, people can talk shit about Metallica all they want now, but nobody can touch this shit.
Well, and like you said earlier too, it doesn't matter, like it or not, you got to respect it, because you know what we don't have without it?
Everything.
You know, when clusters of musicians come out and they start doing things, it's no different than a basketball team where everybody's elevating their game and trying to outplay each other, and the whole team rises to the occasion, you know? This is an 8-minute song.
Yes. This is just the second chorus.
We hit the radio, we only 3.5 to 4 minutes max, and Metallica said, fuck you.
Yep. Radio came to Metallica.
Yep.
Little breakdown section here.
Love me a good breakdown.
Live off flying. Hell is here. Take it away, Kirk. And the thing I like the most, little change in there, and then Kirk is very bluesy.
And the funny part about this, you guys watch me playing the air drums and the air guitar, he's actually playing the song. Like, he can play this song. I can just play with my ding dong.
They do it together. Dual guitar shit, bitch.
Every now and again, you got to take your buddy along on the ride with
Yeah,
you.
that's
You know what I
right.
mean? Even if it is 10 miles past ceiling.
Lars on the ride, that's a rarity now.
Yeah, he's more apt to hit a gong than he is to hit a ride.
And then we have the hell is here, and then what? And just when you think the song's over,
Yeah.
verse 3.
And that to me is such an amazing feat, you know?
Nothing have I done. Left to die with only friend. Alone I clenched my gun.
It's lyrically powerful.
Yes. And for being like 25, 26 at the time, you know? And that's just it too. These guys were like kids.
Oh, yeah. Our first album on Metal Blade Records,
Yeah.
Kill 'Em All.
Yeah. They've come a long way on this from Kill 'Em All. And they're gonna do it twice. Where are you going back to? Okay. Kind of wordplay there. It's kind of fun. Some harmonies and then what? In case you want to get a little heavy or a little thrashy before the end.
Dude, people are... This pit it's of assholes and elbows, man. It's just...
Exactly. You're like gutting people.
Yeah.
And Lars?
He's not walking around the front of his kit hitting shit.
How before you kicking more dogs? There you go, man.
See, that is pure Metallica.
That, like, when I talk about Metallica, that's the Metallica I fucking love. Like, give me Hero of the Day, sure. Great tune, whatever. Nothing else matters, whatever. But this shit is like, fuck, you couldn't touch them. They were on fire. You know, blowing away Ozzy on that tour. Ozzy's like, well, you gotta come on my tour. And then every night, they'd fucking the fans would they get won over every single night. And all of a sudden Ozzy's like, oh shit, I might be opening for you next.
I should start a reality show with my wife.
Right? He's like, oh, the music fucked me. I'm gonna go do some reality shit.
What metal band was his son Jack like representing and producing near the end of that show?
Oh, I don't remember. I remember hearing something about it, but I had never watched it.
I keep wanting to say like Amon Amarth, but it's not. It's something fun like that.
That band's pretty fun too. Nice Viking metal.
Well, you look at some of the obscurity stuff that I've listened to over the years, and I think back to Sepultura and Max Cavalera's side project Soulfly and some of that stuff where you're like, I think that was Spanish, but I'm not sure, but it didn't matter because it was just fucking in the face and oh shit. Let's see. I gotta go back to my list here, man. Be the last song. Where do I want to go? Oh man, there's a couple of classics that I might need to save for next episode. All right, I'm gonna step outside. I'm gonna finish on a true Pete. Like, I bought this album. I'll never forget. I've mentioned it numerous times. My 1991 Ford Escort GT, 5 on the floor stick shift. I spent my first real paycheck on a Sony Explode CD player for that bad boy.
Hell
and
yes.
One of the first CDs I ever played in it was called Infest by Papa Roach. And these guys, they came out and they blew the doors off with Last Resort. And everybody was like, oh, they're in all black. Same reason, they don't want to be labels. They don't want to be...
Right.
And it's about, the ultimate of teen angst, and this is it. I'm killing myself. It was a song about suicide. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
A nice Iron Maiden guitar riff in the beginning. Mm-hmm. Or throughout, I should say.
So, this song was my favorite off of that album. And that song, it was one of those you could put on and just play right from the beginning, Mm-hmm. And the beginning, Viva la cucaracha! And it was... Broken Home and Last Resort, and it was just hit after hit. This song's called Between Angels and Insects.
Okay.
And the great lyrical value, not as heavy as some of the other stuff we've heard today, but this I would put more in a hard rock category, a rap rock category, but you can't ignore the metal that came before it that allowed it to be.
Sure.
So... There's no money, there's no possession, only obsession. I don't need that shit. Take my money, take my obsession. And I love you take the part of the song, chorus, pre-chorus, whatever it is, and then you repeat it later, but you change the lyrics. It's something that country music does all the time.
Yeah.
Chorus 1, chorus 2, and then chorus 3 changes the perspective. Yeah. I just want to be heard, loud and clear on my verbs. Thank you from within, man, tell them what you heard. It's about a revolution in your heart and in your mind. You can find that conclusion, lifestyle and obsession. Diamond rings get you nothing but a lifelong lesson. And your pocketbook.
What's funny is that guitar shit could have totally been in some 80s.
Oh yeah,
easily.
You don't need. It's too bad the world is based on greed. Step back and see. Start thinking about yourself. Start thinking about there's no money, there's no possession, only obsession. By the way, the song totally about toy collecting.
Oh.
So it's take my possessions. Everything is nothing, and emptiness is in everything. With reality is really just a fucked up dream. With the flesh and the blood that you call your soul, flip it inside out. It's a big black hole. Take your money, burn it up like an asteroid. Possession that you're never gonna feel the void. That's
Added ambient guitars in the
Yeah.
back too.
and the drums just on the toms,
Yeah.
man. You know. There's no possession.
Bass not doing much, but they're holding the foundation.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I dug that.
And this is back when he was still Colby Dick.
Oh.
And then eventually, as he grew up a couple albums later, he's like, no, my name is Jacoby Shaddix. And he kind of dropped that moniker, you know?
Gotcha.
You know, my name's Colby Dick, Mr. Dick if you're nasty, you know?
Here's some bass up on the neck.
Present yourself, press your clothes, comb your hair, and clock in.
Should have been a guitar solo right there.
Just can't win. The things you own you. Get it? Take my possession. Take my obsession. I don't need that shit. Change it. Fuck your possession. Fuck your obsession. I don't need that shit. Money. Possession.
Halftime on the drums.
Obsession. It is absolutely amazing how many songs I enjoy from my teenage years that end with yelling the F word.
It's becoming a thing,
Like
man.
earlier, it was kind of funny when I was talking about
Right,
it.
now
Now
you're like,
kind of
what
like,
the fuck?
holy shit! Every single one of these songs. I was gonna go to make a loop because we got one more from you.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that works. All right. All right. Well,
Finish strong.
oh, that's going to be a difficult one. But you know what? I did mention something about Fear Factory earlier. So I will put it on. This Fear
It
Factory.
better be Cars.
It is definitely Cars. So Fear Factory was never. They weren't a huge band for me, but once I heard the album Demanufacture, it definitely changed my views on heavy music and got me more into angry, screamy stuff, which of course opened the doors for In
Miss
Flames. Well, Miss Sugar. of
That
course,
that was
yeah.
the band, not Amon Amarth. Meshuggah was who he was working with.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry. When a word like that hits you in the face, you got to say it out loud. So, sorry.
So, yeah, which led me to opening the gates to In Flames, which is one of my favorite bands of all time. But
Sweden?
yes, Sweden's a very sweet place. So this song is Replica by Fear Factory. And he also claims to be the creator of the soft vocal to heavy vocal thing. I'm sure that's debatable, but at least he thinks he is. So
As far as like singing melodic and then going into a
Yes,
scream?
yes,
Okay.
so.
Which I love.
kick drum comes in. Right with the kick drums, man.
Oh, yeah.
Pre-chorus, maybe? Then back to the verse.
Just wanted to give you a little taste. You're not getting the whole chorus
Yeah,
yet.
not yet.
Is that a pre-chorus? Is a pre-chorus the same thing as a bridge?
Sure.
Because you'll hear that too. Verse,
Yeah.
bridge, verse, bridge, chorus.
Yep.
Oh, that's every fist in the air,
Yes,
man.
exactly.
It's only one of my favorite elements of punk music, you know?
Yes.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey!
yep.
This is a four-way stop.
Yep.
Wow, that's an old school church.
Hell yeah, it is. Still going.
And then
Almost gets into sort of the croony voice. Oh. Such tight drumming.
oh yeah. It's almost like a druidic chant,
Yes.
you know? We're all wearing hoods or on a fire. Ah. That dude is sprinting on his
Yep.
bass drum pedals.
Very melodic, but still heavy as shit.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure he doesn't want to live that way.
That would have been totally on my list had it been a situation of fuck your way.
Yes.
Fuck your way.
I don't want to live your fuck you.
That was
Fuck you.
I'm starting to think back now, and I'm not sure I ever listened to anything Fear Factory that wasn't Cars, and I think I may have to revisit that a little bit.
Yeah, Fear Factory was one of those ones that was like, if you were the thrashy old school dudes or the new metal guys, like it was one of those middle ground bands, which Slipknot was a lot like that as well. And they had like concept albums about, as far as I remember, it was basically about technology taking over and killing man and all that type of stuff. And I'm sure Replica being the name of the song has something to do with something in there. So those people who are already fans are screaming at me going, you're an idiot.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. Great album. Great song. So
It's a lot of that. It doesn't even matter the genre of music. Some of those albums that you grab the CD, you could throw it in, and you didn't have to skip a track.
yes.
You know what I mean? And that to me is a true testament to musicianship and artistry. And it's like, yeah, that's all great. Like, I love that you love these songs and give you a great example. So, or at Warped Tour, we went for 8 or 9 years in a row and absolutely loved that place. And you get these teeny boppers, for lack of a better term, and they know that one big hit, and like people get hurt.
Yes.
So I've been. I mean, I'm talking about Spine Shank, Amen, Five Finger Death Punch, Immure, God Forbid, Korn. I mean, Rob Zombie. I've been Hatebreed. I've been in some pits, man.
Yeah.
And I'm getting taken down to the ground because fucking red jumpsuit apparatus started the opening chords to Face Down. Like my physical well-being is being threatened right now because Fall Out Boy just started Sugar We're Going Down. It's that whole mindset and mentality of what you kind of do in that pit. And but those are the people that didn't go, oh man, these songs are really good.
Yeah.
And you don't hear those songs in concert normally unless it's a song that really means something to the band or they like to share it. And but like I said, I've spent my entire life listening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was so fortunate when I didn't have any bills when I was 16, and I delivered pizzas and I made stupid money. And I'd go to Best Buy, Circuit City, once a week.
Blow
I'd buy
your money
10,
on
12
music.
CDs,
Yeah.
man. And my back seat, I had binders, 128 discs.
Yeah.
And I'd go, hey, I'm going to buy this one. I bought a CD because the band name was Pete. And they had one song on GRD. And, but that's how I found Taproot. And that's how I found Seether. That's how I found 3 Days Grace. And that's how I, all these bands that I was just like, I'm going to give these a shot because I've got $9 to burn.
Yep.
And so
I would do that on occasion, but mainly I always had I knew who I was going for. But I remember Circuit City would have bands that were either side projects or bands that were they had at least one member from the band. I'm looking through In Flames, okay, and all of a sudden there's this disc that says Passenger on it. I'm like, why is this in here? And it says featuring Anders from In Flames, and you're like, okay. And I purchased.
I love that band.
And
only know you love her when you let her go. That's Passenger, right?
Is it? Is that what it is?
That is.
Yeah, well,
not the same Passenger.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
If you try to look up Passenger, it's actually kind of difficult to find them. You got to go through a couple things, but they put out one album, and it was sort of in that kind of new metal category, but it was something that I absolutely loved because I loved In Flames, which opened me up to this, which lots of stuff like that happened back in the day. But mainly, I was fortunate enough to have a lot of musician friends who knew a lot of different styles of music. I would thumb my nose at any 80s hair bands, but then I became friends with people who loved 80s hair bands, and I started listening, and I'm like, holy fuck, Skid Row and Tesla are badass. So.
And you asked, hey, you ever heard of Tesla? Yeah, the 5-man electrical band. They do that song Signs.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it.
That's
all they know.
They don't know modern day cowboy and shit like that. Man, those guys were phenomenal. So.
Shit. Well, hey, great second episode, man.
We did it, man.
We did it
Fuck
again.
Yeah.
So we're Pete McCarthy, Jeremy DeWitt, episode 2 of the magnificent musical heavy metal Minivan, named courtesy of Matthew Rodriguez. And we're just here to show you that we don't need Stephen Trav.
Fuck 'em.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed yourself. We're going to be opening this up again as a filler for stuff to do because we really enjoy it. And so you got your favorite band, you got your favorite metal song, you've got your iconic song that means something to you, shoot it to us. We'd love to. Nothing would make us happier than to sit in this van and listen to a song for the first time together that neither one of us have heard.
Sure.
So again, share that experience with us.
I'm ready to shit all over your favorite songs.
I will absolutely tell you how much garbage it is.
Yes.
So, but awesome. Well, hey guys, thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.